The Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defo and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
It feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2 plus 2, I'm for show. You down, I'm down, baby, let's go. You stop, you drop, baby, then roll. You twerk, you pop, booty so swole. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take 2. It's only one life, you don't get 2. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots are running, 2 out, I'm stunning tonight. Tonight, yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something, ooh, yeah, I love it, alright.
Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with supermodels. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Just a little extended version here as Ryan is dancing over there in Studio Bristol. We are live in Tampa, Florida. Martinez and Company. I am Angel Martinez. He is Ryan F. Once again, welcome to Tuesday night here, December 5th. As yesterday we had a hysterical time with John Kincaid and things. When I say it all the time, guys, when we go live, things happen. So we do appreciate John Kincaid coming on with us yesterday. Once again today, Rich Quinones from Back Your Play will be with us at the top of the hour. And then Dean of College Picks will be calling in at 6:30 because yesterday we tried to have him on so we can get his perspective as far as the New England side of the house, because we know right now it is not happy times up there in New England. So we'll get into that. We'll also get into the NHL as they're staging the draft order up in Las Vegas, or across over in Las Vegas at the Sphere. If you guys have not been to Vegas and have seen the Sphere up close, you are missing quite the spectacle. We were there for the summer games, the Summer League Series, both with the TBL and the NBA, and we got the opportunity to see it, not only obviously during the day, but at nighttime. It is a marvel to see out there in Vegas. So we'll get into that. Also, sources from the NCAA president backs the subdivision that would align limitless direct pay, NIL pay, to these athletes. That might be quite the journey when that happens. Starting right out of the gate is Joey B. Joey B says, never so offbeat. He is the epitome of white man from the suburbs of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. Right out of the gate. Right out, Ryan. So don't expect anything less from Joey B. Joey B, always great to see that he comes back every single night. We do appreciate it, along with AJ in San Antonio. By the way, happy birthday to the Penguin AZ. Happy birthday, sir. I think he turned 21 again, last that I understand. So we wished him a happy birthday earlier out there on social media. So if you are listening to Penguin AZ, happy birthday, sir. We hope that you had a great day. Obviously, it's only, 3:04 in the afternoon there on Arizona time. So we hope whatever you're doing, you're celebrating, you're enjoying it with the family, or if not with yourself. Either way, not too much with yourself, but you know what I'm saying. Just enjoy the time, and happy birthday, sir. So that also, the Jets QB shuffle, which to me it's interesting, where it shouldn't be a dilemma. Like, you're not saying who you're going to start as your Jets quarterback. Not like you have a plethora of guys just hanging around. So it kills me that somehow or another they're wondering what in the world they're going to end up doing. I just think it's insane. Trevor Lawrence, unfortunately, high ankle sprain. Freakish things have happened this season in the NFL. The Jaguars did not want to see that. Obviously, Cincinnati, again, limitless with our quarterback, but looked pretty damn good, I guess, yesterday. So Trevor out. There's an Ohtani update. We'll get into some MLB talk again with Rich Q. Also with Jim Leland, because yesterday was overshadowed. Jim Leland, we all know and understand that he has gone into the Hall. First ballot, by the way, into the Hall. But we'll get into it because a lot of talk yesterday was obviously with the NCAA coach, or excuse me, playoffs, the way it was done. Also, the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees are out. So we'll get into that. McCarthy on the Philly rematch. He's talking about how badly he wants this to happen. And as much as I may tease AJ in San Antonio and you Dallas fans out there, by no means, and don't get me wrong, because I've said this before, to me, it's one of those things that I am not convinced. And Eagles fans, you guys want to boo me? I know that the gang from Philly to the South End are watching. You can boo me all you want to. I'm not 100% sold that the Eagles can bounce back and win against Dallas. I know, obviously, Ryan loves that one and everybody else out there, but I'm just not 100% convinced that they can do it. Maybe we'll get into a little Eagles talk as well when it comes to Rich. Also, the draft order update as far as the NFL and how that's changed a little bit, the landscape, obviously with the Patriots being as ugly as they are. And then the MLB draft lottery just happened not too long ago. Cincinnati takes the number 2 spot. Cleveland takes the number 1 spot. And rounding up the top 5 is the Rockies, Athletics, and the White Sox. I'm kind of surprised that the Athletics didn't take that top spot. But you know what? For the top 5 that are in there, including the White Sox, the Chicago White Sox, I mean, not bad. Not what I expected. Brad Paisley doing the honors. A couple times he got these things kind of mixed up and backwards there. But that just happened at 5:30. I like it, though, because it's quick. They do the ping pong lottery. They bring it out there, and then they put the cards together and let everybody know, obviously, how where they rank and where they were. So, it was quick. Rays end up with an 18th spot, even though they made the playoffs, but they did get 18th spot. In the Brewers, 17th in who was it? You got the Rays 18, Brewers 17, Marlins 16th, the Mariners 15th, Cubs 14th, Giants 13th, Red Sox 12th, Tigers in 11th, and rounding up the top 10 were the Nationals, the Nasty Nats out there from D.C. The Pirates, Ryan's team, get the top 10 pick.
That won't matter.
Are you already saying they're going to be 162?
They've already been eliminated from the 2024 playoffs. So.
Listen, wait till MLB season starts. You guys want a good time with Ryan? Wait till Major League Baseball. Remember, he said it. Mark this. It is 6:07, December 5th. Because last year the thing was with Ryan, he said in the very beginning of the year, nope, you know what? The Pirates are eliminated from a contention. That's it. They're out. They're going to start out 0-162. The funny thing was, then the Pirates took off. But then the Pirates came back to the way we know how the Pirates are. And then once again, Ryan was completely right, and I'm pretty sure he'll be right again this year. The Angels, 8th. The Cardinals, 7th. Royals, 6th. And again, the top 5, White Sox, Athletics, 4th. Rockies, 3rd. Second was Cincy, and Cleveland tops off the number 1 spot. Also, Joey B says, saw you two in a sphere last month. Glad they once cost a small fortune. Yeah, I heard. Well, Joey, I want to know, too, that how many people did you saw? Because a lot of people end up getting the motion sickness. And what's the other thing there, Ryan?
Vertigo.
There you go. A ton. Apparently the people, so from what I understand, what I gathered was a lot of the folks on the left and right side of the stages on the sphere, apparently those are ones, they felt like the floor was moving and everything else. So you two likes to, listen, they put on a monstrous show. They like to put a lot of, technical stuff out there. I think it was just too much that they put out there. So I'm pretty sure Joey B will let me know. Also, from Joey B, is that a cat food t-shirt that Neff has on? Dude, you're teeing up for me tonight, Neff. Is it?
It is. Friskies 1997 Easter egg hunt, my friend.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, good idea by Joey B. Neff there you go. Neff with the Friskies cat food shirt on. Ryan now is officially the cat man of YouTube. And I ain't talking to Kiss drummer Peter. The cat
Peter
man
Chris. Yep.
And Joey B's other comment, he says, With the loss of Trevor Lawrence last night for the season, the Jaguars are now officially eliminated from the college football playoffs. Yeah, I started seeing that a lot today. Holy moly, man. It's incredible to me how there's so many people so frustrated. Listen, again, I'm not a crazy college phenom like everybody else, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand it. I get it. But, wow, I still can't believe, Ryan. It's just, it wouldn't stop today. And I heard Stephen A. Smith, apparently he didn't like it as well. I guess he went on a rant today and talked about how much he disliked it. So, I mean, is it 2 to 3 to 4? I guess maybe, is it a week-long conversation?
I mean, it's going to be an all-off-season conversation, to be quite honest with you. The only thing that might overshadow it is if Michigan wins the national title and then 3-4 months down the line they get revoked of that national title. So it's you know, I've seen so many people's opinions and their thoughts on it, and then I even saw Stephen A. say that you know if Deion Sanders was the coach, they wouldn't have left Florida State out. Give me a break. They still would have. Even if the quarterback would have been out, they still would have. So again, it's going to be a topic of conversation for a long time because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, Florida State got hosed. They flat out got hosed. And I said this again, and I'll say it again. 13-0, you win the ACC title. Right. Okay, your quarterback goes down. It's a team game. Do you think the NFL... Oh, Trevor Lawrence goes down. Okay, well, we're going to have a committee at the end of the year. And we're going to see, you know, which teams make it based off injuries and stuff like that. You know how asinine that is? It's a team effort. Teams step up. The defense stepped up against Florida. The defense stepped up against Louisville. You don't think the defense has a chance against Michigan? Of course they do. I mean, the offense may not be anything special without Jordan Travis, but I mean, you manage. That's what you know, you want to see it. To not be given the opportunity or the chance. And again, I'll say it. They let Alabama in because of the success that the SEC has had in the college football playoff. That's the only reason. And again, Greg Sankey getting up there with the Sesame Street analogy, which still pisses me off. I still can't believe he did any of that. Pandering to the lowest common denominator, which is the college football playoff committee. Just give me a break. It's just, you know, next year we're not going to have the problem. We'll have 12 teams. But if the other teams are sitting in a 13th and 14th spot, the topic might come up again. Well, why did this team get in? Why didn't this team? Team had a better record. Well, this other team had a little bit less of a record, but their strength of schedule was. It's starting to get tit for tat now.
It is.
And I know there's an article out there, and I think Heather Dinich put it on ESPN about what went down in the committee room leading up to the unveiling of the top four, and it even sickens me more.
Right, before I get to two comments here, I have to give myself one of these.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Because what did I forget to do? If you would like to call or text the show, you can do so at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. I do it right at the top of the show, and I forgot all about it. So, again, or you guys can come over to the Tony Bruno Sports Facebook page and watch the show live there. Make your comments like Joey B is and others as well. But, and Joey B says, by the way, before I get to Dylan and Spring Hill and then to AJ, Joey B says, Angel, the sphere, I was on the left side, definitely had some dizziness, and it wasn't all that great of an experience. Had to close your eyes for a minute, felt like continuing bed spins, strange. In which, listen, I would definitely have to agree because I heard a lot of people complain about the same exact thing. So I think they need to tone down the lights a lot. Also, Joey B, I'm impressed that a 1997 T-shirt fits Neff. Well done, sir. All righty. On the roll, Dylan from Spring Hill says, LOL, the Athletics do everything right and lose and couldn't get the number one pick. The Reds might be, or maybe, the team to watch with that number 2 pick, but big pick for Cleveland University. Indeed. And then AJ says, Angel, please don't confuse me with the sensitive, easily triggered Skip Bayless-like Cowboys fans that react like a little bitch when Eagles fans try to kick the Hornets' nest trying to tease them. I got better things to do. And believe me, AJ, by no means am I saying that you are sensitive whatsoever because I know you're not. Trust me. I just say it because listen, the only reason why I mention you, AJ, because I know you're a Dallas fan. So when I talk about everything else, when I say Dallas, It's you as a fan and only that. Not anything sensitive or anything else like that. So believe me, that's not the route that I'm going with you, AJ. But no, listen. Again, we there was also, as we did the crossover a little bit earlier, if you guys missed it, we were on with Tony and Miss Robin. Tony had Steve Mariucci, JP Peterson locally here with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then Vince Papali on with them as his guest. Steve ended up calling in the last minute. It was pretty cool. Well, at the beginning of the show, but last minute where they had left him a voicemail, he ended up calling in. That was a great segment, along with JP Peterson and with Vince Papali as well. But, you know, it's funny to me. And don't get me wrong, okay? I hope the Eagles can make it to the Super Bowl. It's just they've had a string of games where they're coming from behind. They haven't played that well in the last 2 games. Obviously, the last game, it showed that they didn't. Dallas, on the other hand, is playing well. Also, the teams that they should be beating, they are. Now, with that being said, obviously, they saw the loss in Philly, which I expected for them to lose in Philly. But I also said when the season started, before we came on to Tony Bruno Sports Network over on Broad Street South, Ryan and I were talking about at the beginning of the season, and I did mention there was going to be a split, that Dallas would Dallas would lose in Philly, but more than likely win at home. Now, this is even before game 1 is even played. We can all talk all we want to, but we don't know what's going to happen until the season starts. With that being said, the way Dallas has been playing as of late, do I believe they can beat the Eagles? Yes. Eagles fans, you guys can get on me if you want to. My cousin hated it when I told him that. He was like, you can't say that. The game hasn't been played yet. Well, looking the way the Eagles, unless they change something around, believe me, getting Shaq on the team is not going to make a huge difference because he's very injury prone. So we don't know. He can go out the very first play and just get injured. So it's just the organization, Nick Sirianni just has to do something better this week. And Jalen has got to stop playing from behind, number 1. Number 2, stop trying to make a play that isn't there. For the love of God, just stop. Throw the damn ball away. No, I want to run around, get popped, go to the sideline, throw something up in the air. If there's nothing there, throw it away. If not, you're going to become damaged goods. And who do we have as a backup? Marcus Mariota. Can anybody call up Nick Foles? Because I do not believe in Mariota whatsoever. He's like James Harden. When he sees the hits coming, he runs. So I don't believe if Jalen goes down, season over. And you heard it here first. The minute that Jalen goes down, the Eagles, you're not going to get Nick Foles like you did when Carson Wentz went down. It's not going to happen. Marcus Mariota comes in, yeah, lights out for my Birds. Not the Dirty Birds. Don't get them confused down there with Atlanta. But it will be. Ryan, you know this. There's not friggin'... look, the birthday boy pops in. Not Carson Wentz. Exactly. Happy birthday, Penguin AZ, as we talked about earlier. So I hope you're enjoying your birthday. And it goes back and forth. It's Joey B and the Penguin AZ, exchange pleasantries. But no, listen, again, I'm not a homer. Everybody knows this. And by the way, folks, I also don't... Okay, I am from Philly. Don't get me wrong. I love my Eagles absolutely to death. I love them to death. My thing is, like everyone else in Philly, when they become belligerent and everything else, listen, I don't get paid by the NFL. I don't get paid by the Philadelphia Eagles organization. And last I checked, the owner wasn't coming to my door here in Tampa to the studio and saying, hey, can I have an interview with you? Because it's just not going to happen. My thing is just that, we get upset as fans, we do. The difference between me is when the Super Bowl, when we lost it last year, I was upset for about a whole entire minute. And my producer knows because we were down at Tampa Joe's, absolute beautiful restaurant. And if you guys come into Tampa, visit Tampa Joe's, our sponsor over on Broad Street South. Visit Tampa Joe's because you will have the best time, the best food, fresh beer, fresh alcohol. There's nothing that they have that's old. Maybe the sand outside the sidewalk. Everything else in the house, they've replenished, they've refreshed. It always looks good, and you'll never find anything dirty at Tampa Joe's. So if you guys are Eagles fans and you're looking for a place to come down to, go over to 9316 Anderson Road in beautiful Tampa, Florida, right from the airport. I mean, you leave from the airport and bam, you're right there. But, when they lost, Eagles lost, I want to say we went right over to Starbucks, grabbed my coffee, had to drive home, and that was it. I mean, what can you do? Honestly, Ryan, and me crying, is that going to make any, are the Chiefs going to be like, oh, you know what? Sorry, you guys. You know what? We feel bad. Here, you guys have it. Come on. You know, as much as I know, it's not going to happen. And my thing is that it's an important game. It is Dallas week. We all notice. I don't care if it's week, the first time they meet, the second time they meet, it is always Dallas week. My thing is just that I'm not thoroughly convinced the way this team looks right now for them to win against Dallas.
Well, I mean, the Jets let go Tim Boyle today.
Yeah.
So maybe you can put a call in to him for a backup, or maybe Bagent out in Chicago. Maybe you can pick him up, or I don't know, maybe you can come back to Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know, but you're right. Jalen Hurts better not get hurt. And the Eagles fans were collectively holding their breath when he went into the tent and then he went into the locker room to get checked for a concussion. So, look, we all know that this is a very important game yet again between Philadelphia and Dallas. So, if Philadelphia were to happen to lose, that would put them at 10-3 and Dallas at 10-3. Now,
Right.
They would still have a little bit of a tiebreaker just because conference-wise, Philly would be 6-2, Dallas would be 7-3. But if San Francisco wins and the Eagles lose, and they're all 10-3, well, San Francisco right now is sitting in conference. They're 7-1, and they hold the tiebreaker over both. So San Francisco's kind of sitting pretty right now. So the Eagles better keep winning, and you're right. And I looked at some of the defensive stats for the Eagles over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's not good. So they are going to have to, just like the Chiefs last year when the defense was not all that great, they had to outscore people. And, of course, it led them to the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. But they had to outscore Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And Philadelphia is kind of finding themselves in the same boat now. So, but look, every team, you know what you have now. We're past Thanksgiving.
Correct.
We're past the breaking point. So you know what you have, and you better tailor your schemes or your program around what the defenses or offense are throwing you. So it's, again, they don't have a lot of success in Dallas the last couple of years. So they don't really have that on their side. But look, Dallas has been in this position before in December, and Dallas doesn't have the greatest of history in December either. So,
correct. They haven't, but I'll leave it at that. Anyways, a couple of comments here. These guys are coming in fast and furious. Joey B says, I can't wait to get to Tampa. Joe's. Might be down there for a bowl game. By all means, Joey, if you get down here, let me know. I will definitely be over there. Penguin AZ says that Angel made Tampa Joe's the Eagles place. I wish I could take the credit, but the place is absolutely phenomenal. I love being down there. I've done a couple of broadcasts from there. It's a little bit tough because the best place is inside. And if you guys, when I tell you, when you get down there for a game, you better get there early because the bar area fills in the fastest. Then you got the restaurant side, and obviously you have the outside, which here you can watch the game. At the beginning of the season, it's tough. It's about 1,000 degrees outside, 2,000% humidity. So it's a little rough out there. Even when Ryan came down, he knew how hot and humid it was, which he said he didn't miss it at all. But it's great. I would love to do the broadcast from the inside. The problem is that it gets really loud in there, and it just overpowers the microphone, and it's kind of tough. So normally I do it out from the deck, and who knows, I might pop down there before the end of the season. One never knows. But, yeah, it's always a great time over there. Joey B says, Angel and Tampa Joe's umbrella drinks, $2 off for life. I wish that was the case. But then Penguin AZ comes right back, and he says, exactly, discount code, #Martinez and Company. I'm going to pass that on to Tampa Joe's because it might let it actually go. And Joey B laughs at and says, discount code EPIC. It could happen. We'll see. Penguin AZ once again says, with Ryan and his fluorescent headphones, not neon green. Yes. Listen, he is multicolored tonight.
Damn Skippy.
With his shirt and his headphones there. I think he went with Gator Orange.
That's right.
Yeah. Neff's orange headphones. Where's my Walkman?
I'm sure I could find one. I'm sure I could find one somewhere.
I'm quite sure. But it's got to be the one with the cassette player, though. It's got to be that one. Ryan has the anti-skip CD player going too. From the Penguin AZ.
That's right. It's over here by my side. It's like right over here in this general area. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, that's freaking great. If you guys, by the way, if you missed it, I'll put the clip up. If not, you guys can go over to the YouTube page over on Broad Street South. And you guys will be able, or go right to the website, broadstsouth.com, and then go over to the YouTube site. And you've missed the segment last night with John. Oh my God, we couldn't stop laughing hysterically for over 2 minutes just because of the way things end up working. Penguins laughing, and then Mike Klein. Speaking of the guy, just want you to know that I'm still here. I did jump off the wagon. Go Eagles. Dallas sucks. Yeah, and listen. You talk about somebody being responsible down there for Tampa Joe's. Mike Klein, Philly to South. And Mikey missed it because last week I had on the Philly to South shirt. I'll still bust it out this week, the T-shirt, representing the company. Mike Klein, CEO and president of Philly to South. That is such an awesome club. Him and Michelle, they do such a phenomenal job. Michelle now working part-time there at Tampa Joe's, trying to make sure everybody gets in there and has a great time. And I'm telling you, it's such a fun time with that group. Every Philly fan that comes into town, and Mike gets like message after message after message. Hey, if they don't get it through Tampa Joe's, he'll get it. You're welcome anytime, Mikey. You know, every single time. And by the way, I know you called me the other day. I forgot to call you back. Honestly, I will call you. Matter of fact, I might end up calling you here after the show because I did forget. My apologies. The good thing is that when people want to know where they can watch the Eagles game, you'll see Philly to South, the Messenger page will just light up. Where can I watch the game? Are they playing the game this weekend? And by the way, for Christmas, they will be open for Eagles fans. Just Eagles fans, not Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. But listen, the Buccaneers, I know we're about to come up here on a break. Bucs fans don't even show up. The only time the Bucs fans showed up, it was 2 years ago. And my producer, she'll let me know. About 2 years ago, they gave away, it was when they were they went to London for that London game. So Bud Light, they gave away free beer that morning, and the only reason why the Bucs fans showed up is because they gave away free beer that morning. The minute the beer went away at 11 o'clock, the fans were gone. See you later. They didn't bother hanging around. So Bucs fans, you guys show your true colors. That's all I'm going to say. You guys really do. And by the way, you'll be the next team eliminated. Yes, Ryan?
No, I was just going to say there was the bar for the Big Ten championship game. Yeah. There was a bar in Iowa that was giving out free beer until Iowa scored. And guess what? That must have been a huge, huge loss for that bar because Iowa did not score.
Jeez. Well, they also had a thing, too, not so long ago. It was, man, where was it? I'm pretty sure my not Budweiser. Yeah, exactly. Man, why can't they should make those commercials again.
I like the Bud Light Presents. The
Real American
Bud
Heroes?
Light, yeah.
Yeah. Which then they changed it. I forgot what it was because after 9/11 they decided to change it. Which they should have left. Everybody knew what they were talking about. You didn't have to change it, but I understand out of respect for 9/11, they chose to change it because obviously the real American heroes who end up passing away. And let you not forget, just like the rest of us, we will never, ever, ever forget 9/11. Never. Every dog has its day. And that day will come to those who created harm here to the U.S. And to you Americans, make sure you stay alert because the people that are coming into this country are not your friends. I'm just letting you know that. Stay alert because something could end up happening. That is my political second of the moment. Could say other stuff, but again, it's going to happen. One day that show will happen. It may not happen here because I don't want to bore anybody with this, but believe me, one day it is going to happen and I am going to blow up. So help me God, I'm going to end up blowing up. But I digress. Anyways, after the break, hopefully Dean of College Picks will be calling in as we get into some New England talk because I'm quite sure, especially now with the redraft of the order here that's going on, he may be vitally upset. And then we'll get into some NHL talk as we talked about earlier. The Jets, I can't even believe they're saying they got a quarterback freaking controversy. When I saw that earlier today, and I'm surprised you didn't send me that the first thing in the morning, but when I saw that, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? What controversy? There's no controversy.
No.
Well,
the controversy is the fact that Zach Wilson doesn't know if he wants to go back in there as a starter. And I can't blame him. I can't blame the kid.
Correct. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he'll one quick comment here by Penguin AZ is Go Yotes. So you guys, again, if you want to call and or text into the show, you can do so at 844-644-TONY. That is 844-644-TONY, 8669. Also, make your comments here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network Facebook page. You can come join the hilarity and the hijinks and the fun and everything else. So after the break, we'll talk a little bit more It'll be a quick one, probably. So we'll talk to you right after the break.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio. He perfected it.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices, but many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough, steel-toed protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
How much is safety and peace of mind worth to you? Severe weather can happen suddenly, and the AccuWeather app gives you more accurate and timely warnings than any other source, right down to the street level. A Premium Plus subscription on the AccuWeather app costs less than a cup of coffee each month, and with it, you get the fastest and most accurate alerts to keep you and your loved ones safer. Clear, concise, and actionable forecasts with superior accuracy. Download the AccuWeather app and choose a Premium Plus subscription today.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Hacemos aquí en el Tony Bruno Sports Network. Muchas gracias a mi gente latina que siempre están conmigo esta noche y cada noche on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. Aquí yo soy Ángel Martínez, eres Ryan Neff y juntos son Martinez Company. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Y si quieren llamar al show, lo pueden hacer al 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. Y como dice el señor Bruno todo el tiempo, bonito hombre. Bonito. And those who like to press the number one, as always, when we come back from our first break, quarter number 2 here on Martinez Company. We thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it, especially the Latin side of the house there. That's why we always come back on the break on a Spanish song there. So thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it. I am Angel Martinez. He is Ryan Neff. Martinez Company here live Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. If you guys would like to call into the show, you can do so at 844-644-8669. It's nice to see Joey B and Penguin AZ having a conversation, but the conversation... if everything goes well, on the line, Dean of College Picks is on the line with us. Dean, can you hear us? And hold on, Dean. This is why we do things. Yes, sir. Hang on, Dean. I'll bring you right back here. You got to love it because when you connect things, they decide they want to disconnect, and then you hit connect again, and then you hope to God everything is there. So let's see. Where's Dean? Dean, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
I sure can. There you go. There's Dean. Dean, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Angel?
I'm doing fantastic. Ryan, not so much. Every day he has this weird look on his face. Now today, so Dean, because you can't see him, he looks. What's the word I'm looking for here? He looks like a banana with an orange going across his head. By putting
he's a Chiefs fan, so we'll let him slide.
And that we definitely will. By the way, Penguin AZ se para bailar. Yes, indeed, senor. Órale, as always. And for those who don't know, it's like, what's the country slang? I'll have to think about it. But anyways, Dean, New England, we have not seen this for many, many, many years. And it's kind of like, listen, I like to have fun with New Englanders. My family's still up there in New England. My sister, not as much as a Patriots fan. Well, no, she is. I guess I'll used to be Eagles fan until she moved to New England. Of course, 6 rings will make you a ring chaser. But New England, I think for years, obviously we remember the Patriots that really weren't relevant. And then you bring in your QB, and all of a sudden things change. Obviously, the right coach, right QB combination, and things turned around. The Red Sox, we know for years, went through such a dry spell, and finally winning the World Series. You got your Bruins, you got your Celtics. But has this been the worst that you have seen the Patriots as long as you can remember?
Well, no, because I am a little older. There was some times in the 70s they weren't that great. They started getting better around the mid-70s, 75, 76, 77, right around there. Then they tailed off. You know, they weren't that great. They had a bunch of 2-14. Then there was the strike shortened season, 5-4. 9-7s, and then like 85 when they played the Bears in the Super Bowl. But I mean, you go into the early 90s and they were like winning 1 or 2 games or 6 games here and there. So I mean, I've seen this before, but I'm not surprised. I mean, when you think about what they did for 20 years, no other franchise ever has done anything like it. We've never seen it. Usually a dynasty comes in and you win 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and then you fall off for a decade. Well, they just turned right back around and won 3 more Super Bowls. So it's a great thing, and any New Englanders fan what went on with the Patriots the last 20 years. So I'm not as pissed off as Pete and a lot of other. I'm just we got 6 rings in the bank, and I can let that wait till we can rebuild over the next 5 years or so and get players back.
No, I don't have to agree, but it's just odd. I mean, I call them cheaters after the whole fiasco and everything else. But of course, they have 6 rings. I don't care who says what. Obviously, they have 6 rings, and it's been, to be able to do that in the modern era is completely, completely tough. I don't know if Pat Mahomes,
absolutely,
I don't know if Pat Mahomes will be able to do so. I don't see it because that's just Tom Brady.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's just one. Tom Brady is a unique individual, unique player, and it's hard. Even though Pat Mahomes, I'll give him credit, great quarterback. Is he Tom Brady-esque? Not as of yet. We haven't seen it yet. It could happen, but again, it was a combo of Brady Belichick, and Belichick right now, and I feel bad for New England fans because I'm pretty sure that's not the way he wants to end his career, and I don't believe he's going to call it quits. I'm pretty sure another team's going to give him a chance, but for Belichick, if you being Belichick, what do you think, Dean, has been the worst part of this season and why they only have 2 wins?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you, their defense is great, okay?
Right.
So if you take into consideration how good their defense is, I mean, in the NFL, I mean, you're talking about the top 2% of all athletes in the world, right? And they're all great. So there's such a fine line. That's in the NFL from the worst team to the best team. That's why one year a team can win the division, and next year they can finish dead last, or vice versa. A team can finish dead last and win the division. So to me, the Patriots just need to. He's obviously took care of the defense. To me, they're in line for the next. You can add a drop a guy here and there, but to me, so now if I'm Bill, if Bill is smart, obviously this quarterback is not the answer. You got a great number 1, 2, or 3 pick coming up. You're going to be able to grab probably a altering team QB for you. So now you got to go, okay, let's look beyond the quarterback problem we've had. Okay, anybody who thought Zappy was going to come in and do anything is crazy because, I mean, he can't do what Brady excels at with that little intermediate, accurate, just short pass. He's been struggling with that, and that's been a detriment. So, but the biggest thing to me is you don't have a top 30 quarterback in the league. You don't have a top 20 running back in the league. You don't have a top 20 wide receiver in the league, and you don't have a top 20 tight end in the league. So these are the issues we have to look for and go ahead and fix through the draft, through free agency. And because with that defense, you only need an offense that can probably be somewhere around 15 in the league. You don't even have to have a great offense as long as your defense is as good as the Patriots' defense is. If they can just get a team with a, right in the middle, say anywhere from 12 to 16 range, they will be contenders again.
Here's the thing, though, Dean. The quarterback situation. Okay, how many quarterbacks have been successful from the 2021 draft? Maybe 2. So there aren't really. It doesn't equate to success if you're gonna take a quarterback. I think Drake May from North Carolina. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if I think that there's any quarterback that's NFL ready, more than any of them is Drake May from North Carolina. He's my prototypical quarterback.
Agreed.
6'4", 230.
Agreed.
So Caleb Williams for me, no. Bo Nix, no. Michael Penix, no. So, but again, I caution fans who say, well, we need to get like a good quarterback. Well, there hasn't been too many of them that have panned out the last 2-3 years.
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with, right, is like look at the guy in Green Bay. He was able to sit behind Rodgers, right? And to me, right. If you can get a quarterback that can sit, if you can, that's why I say 5 years for the Patriots. If you can if Kraft is just, he bleeds, his whole life has been Patriots. I mean, he was a season ticket holder back in the 70s. He sat on the metal benches in Old Foxborough Stadium before he bought the team in the 90s. So he wants his team to excel. He lives and dies by this team. So if he can just sit back and draft a quarterback, right, and try to find somebody that can just sit back and learn from, I think that it would go a long way. I mean, Garoppolo, he got to sit behind Brady. I mean, he just got so injured so much. To me, he had the talent to be successful, but he couldn't stay healthy. I think that the Patriots, that's why I say I can get Bill, I can suffer with the Patriots if they struggle for 5 years because of what they've done for the last 20. And so if they could get a quarterback that they don't have to just stick on the field right away, who can sit back for a year or so and just watch, and because you can learn so much by just watching on the sideline as an NFL QB. A QB in the NFL, the jump from year 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3 is the magic thing. To me, 2 is so hard. Everybody has a sophomore jinx. And so if you can just get to year 3 without them quitting on you, I think a quarterback will be the answer. Like you said, Drake May. I totally believe somebody like him could run a pro offense without having a problem if he could sit back and learn the system in the way. If he's thrown into the fire, it's a whole different game in college. It's so much faster. They're so much bigger. They hit so much harder, and it's going to be a detriment. And that's what I think happens to the quarterback they got on there now. I mean, he's been taking a beating. He's not accurate, and so I don't think he's the answer. And, the Patriots got lucky with Brady when Bledsoe goes down, obviously, Something like that's not going to happen again. It's just not. You're not going to find a Tom Brady. But if you can find somebody that can run this offense, just be good. Don't screw up. Don't have turnovers. Just manage the game properly with that defense. I think they could be a contender in 4 or 5 years.
Let me ask you this. With all that being said, okay, and let's say like Bill and Kraft part ways. With all that's going on at Michigan, would you at least inquire about Jim Harbaugh?
Well, yeah, obviously, because he was a good coach at San Fran, right? I mean, it's definitely you hear more talk about. It's funny how we're hearing like Bill leaving, right, and Bill being trade bait because he's still contracted through 2024. He still has another year on his contract for next year. So it's amazing how they are talking more about him, right? Than okay, if you do get rid of Bill, who are you going to replace? You don't hear that anywhere. The only name that's popped up that I've heard of is Vrabel, and Vrabel, that ain't going to happen. Even, that's been already said by, Vrabel and Kraft, but that name was thrown out as a rumor. So, it's like, who do you replace Bill with? I'll suffer with Bill to rebuild this team again. I have no problem with that. People are overreacting. When Bill was a defensive coach on the Giants, he won Super Bowls. Bill's a great coach, and people are overreacting. I mean, you had to shred this team pretty much. I mean, they lost Gronk. They lost their running backs. They lost Brady. I mean, they lost all the Super Bowls. They lost Edelman. I mean, they lost so many superstar players that they had that they're in a rebuilding phase to me. And like I said, hey, I'm content. I'm happy. My cousin has season tickets, and we talk every weekend. And he said it was just so brutal this Sunday, sitting in there cold and rainy and watching that garbage. But, I said, Greg, guess what? Got 6 rings in the bank. So, I mean, we can suffer through a couple bad seasons if we can get back to that. So, I mean, there are teams like Detroit that's never even sniffed the Super Bowl. You think of those fans. New England's been spoiled. And anybody who was born after like 1995 has seen nothing but championships from all 4 of their teams in that city. So, I mean, we've been so spoiled. I think we could use, it's good to go through a little hardship for once in a while. And like I said, I think the Patriots, it stinks to watch what we're watching and the product on the field, but this quarterback just isn't it. And I mean, they've been going through coaches after coach. I mean, your quarterback and coaches and your offensive, they got to be more stable. I mean, you look at like Pittsburgh, Tomlin's been there for. Look at Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Look at Andy Reid in Kansas City. You got to keep a quarterback and a coach stable for 4 or 5 years, and then the rings start coming.
No, you're absolutely right, Dean. And you brought up a point which I did say to Ryan. By the way, Penguin AZ says, "What up, Dean from Clearwater?" But the one thing that I asked Ryan last night, coincidentally, you happened to mention just now. It is funny how Belichick's been mentioned, like with the Chargers, Bears, I think, as of recent, definitely with the Commanders. There's all these different teams that are talking about him, but no one has mentioned the replacement for him. And my question to you is there someone that can replace someone like Bill Belichick, which I don't see it unless you grab what's-his-face. Bill O'Brien went back there. And to me, I think it would be a silly mistake for the Patriots to make Bill O'Brien a head coach again. Obviously, he didn't do a great job when he left from Foxborough to go down there to Houston. So I'm just wondering.
Houston, yeah.
Right. I'm just wondering, no one has said who would be Belichick's replacement. So if you had to take a wild guess in your crystal ball, who in the world could replace such a coach?
Yeah, no, you know what? You don't want to be the guy following the guy. You want to be the next guy. So you want to be the next guy in line. When the dude who replaces Belichick gets fired, you want to be that guy. You don't want to follow Bill. Nobody can, like you said. But the mention of Harbaugh would be, to me, an excellent fit because he has experience in the NFL. He's got proof in the pudding out in San Francisco. So I would have no problem if Harbaugh came along. But like I said, me personally, I don't think I give up on Bill quite yet. I give him that. Those rings are in the bank. His history with the Giants. I mean, this guy's got Super Bowl rings wherever he's been. So I don't think Bill is the problem. Bill is a football genius, and he can adjust to any time in any brand of football that you need to. But the key is just because you're friends with the coaches at, say, Rutgers, and you're friends with the coaches at Alabama, and Bill has drafted players from those teams, right? And has not had success. Just, you don't know who's going to be successful. I mean, we're talking about Tom Brady. He was like a 7th-round pick. You don't know. It's a guessing game. The combine doesn't. What does the combine show you? Nothing on field. It's showing you how high a guy can leap, how fast a guy can run.
Yep.
I mean, you're just going on what he did in college, you know, and college and pros are two different animals, and it just takes, some don't assimilate to it. Some just can't make it. And then there are guys who never even, like Kurt Warner. Look at Kurt Warner. He was bagging groceries. Somebody gave him a chance, and he became a Hall of Famer. So you don't know. It's just a crapshoot across the board. And when you got your scouts and your team and you're looking at players and you're bringing them in and they look like they can do it, but if they don't hit the books and if they don't eat, drink, and sleep football like a Tom Brady, you know, like an Aaron Rodgers, you got to make it your life. And I don't think enough players do that, make that commitment to be the greatest of the greats. Because like I said before, you've got 1 or 2% of the top athletes in the world that are in the NFL. And there's a fine line between a successful Tom Brady and a not successful quarterback that doesn't make it in the league, because you've got that talent. If that guy shows up, you know, any sport, you take hockey, basketball, that guy shows up in a local gym and starts playing with this, you're going to think, oh my God, this guy's all world. What's he doing in this gym with us? You know what I mean? So I think Bill is still the guy. I just do.
If Kraft and Belichick come to a decision that he's going to come back for 2024, would you strip Bill of his general manager position?
Yes, 100%. I would bring somebody in to help him out so he could. Yeah, you know, you can't. I don't like coaches who have their, you know, just like the owner in Dallas, right? Dallas hasn't won a Super Bowl since that guy took over because he's got his hands on everything. To me, you know, you've got to delegate stuff, and I would have no problem with him delegating. I don't know how Bill would take that though. He's probably got an ego on him. But I mean, yeah, I would have no problem with it happening.
Yeah, he definitely would have an ego on him as well. So I don't know how he will handle it either. Unless they sit down and they say, okay, let's weigh out the pros and cons. And they would just have to do it. Because we all know that he doesn't do steak dinners. Like when the guys come in, you know, it's a hot dog cart, hamburger cart, and something. He doesn't do what everybody else does. So I think for me, with Belichick, you probably have to take him to White Castle and tell him, listen, Bill, here's a chart. Here's where we are. Here's what we need. But, you know, I think, and so I guess the other problem too, Dean, and I know we're coming up here quickly on the break, but my other thing is too, then who do you, if like Ryan just said now, they decide to bring Belichick back for 2024, then who is now your quarterback for the future to see if Bill can bounce back?
Well, I am 100% with what he just said about Drake May. I think he shows the most potential as a quarterback in NFL. And if you can go, it's going to, you know, you got next year, you can see who's a free agent. I don't have the list of the quarterbacks that are going to be free agents that have potential that can come out and start. I mean, even if you gave May, even 8 games on the bench and bring them in halfway through if they're not having success, but only as if you have that now. You know, Zeke Elliott ain't the answer. If you find yourself a top 20 running back, a top 20 wide receiver, a top, you know, tight end, you've got to have the pieces to go with this quarterback. You just can't throw out Juju, you know, Smith-Schuster with him. I mean, Parker isn't that bad, but he's not a number one. Juju's not a number one. So if those guys would just be complemented, if you could bring in a good tight end and a good number one receiver, that makes Parker that much better, or that would make Juju that much better. You got to have the weapons. So, I mean, you got to. If Bill's dug out gems before in the draft, he's always done great in the draft until recently, and so I'm willing to give him more chances. So, I would take, if I had Drake May, because obviously, who's got the number one pick right now?
I think it's the Cardinals right now, isn't it? Or is it? No, it's the Panthers.
No, it's the Panthers have the number one pick right now.
The Panthers.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not going to draft a quarterback.
No, they're not.
They're going to stick with that young kid. So the Patriots are going to have to pick whoever they want. And Drake May is the answer to me, as just looking at who's got the potential to be a good pro quarterback. And I think he's the guy. I'm hoping that's what he takes. And then, like I said, between free agency and somewhere in the draft, you know, if he can grab another a stud wide receiver in the draft, I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. Like I said, Angel, I'm not hard on the Patriots right now. Do I like seeing what I'm seeing on the field? No. Is it tough watching every Sunday? Yes. But I mean, I'm still on the top of the mountain. 6 rings in the last 20 years is freaking amazing. 11 Super Bowls I've been to in my lifetime. 11. I mean, I can't complain about the Patriots right now. In 5 years, I'll be bitching.
All right, well,
if it continues.
I would say this much, Gene. I'm going to come down to your house in Clearwater. I just want to rub your elbow just so I know what's it like to have 6 Super Bowl rings. Because Lord knows, I mean, there's 2. The Eagles have 2 NFL championships before the whole Super Bowl immersion, and they have 1 Super Bowl ring. So we're going to get together down in your place, going to one local restaurants. I just want to rub your elbow because Dean has become not only a favorite here, obviously, on the show, but also became my new best friend tonight. Why? Because he thinks the same way I do when it comes to Zeke Elliott and not being the answer. So, Dean, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. And by all means, please do not be a stranger here to the show.
All right, Angel. And I'm gonna get Tony Bruno and Robin sorry asses up here. We'll go out to dinner.
That sounds great, Dean.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Thank
you too.
Dean, you as well.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is a free agent. He'll be a free agent. Kirk Cousins, Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, your Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold. We got Winston, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew. I mean, what do you do? So, obviously, Bailey Zappi. But hey, look, Mac Jones was Bill's guy. So, I would definitely strip him of his general manager position. I had football people come in, but Bill has too much of an ego, man.
Right. I agree. By the way, Penguin AZ says, go Pack Go, as they're coming back. That is absolutely true. They are coming back. Listen, they had a monstrous game on Thanksgiving. That's the team that we all know how Green Bay plays when they play Detroit. So, anyways, great conversation with Dean. And again, my new best friend because the whole Zeke Elliott. But it is tough, though. No matter which way you look at it. Again, as much as we like to talk about the Patriots around here in Dallas and everybody else, but he's absolutely right. It's going to be tough to strip away that GM duty. And again, now, it's funny. We'll get into it after the break as well because does Kirk Cousins get the nod from Minnesota to come back? And I know everybody likes to get on this case as well, but Kirk Cousins has been doing well. So I'm wondering if there's another team that will finally get Kirk Cousins past and get to that pinnacle where he's been trying to get to, which is the Super Bowl. So after the break, Rich Quinones from Back Your Play will be with us here live at 7. It'll be the end of quarter number 2, ending and going into quarter number 3. So it's going to be a short turnaround break. It's not going to be that long because before you know it, we'll be right back. So take a little dance number from this one, and we will get back to you right after this.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of the things unsaid, shooting eyeball off my head. Trouble that can't be named, tigers waiting to be tamed.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio, he perfected it.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defoe and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
There's certain songs that just get you moving and grooving, and that's one of those. Lady, man, that song gets me going. I absolutely love it. It's a good throwback mix. Well, some people might be too young to understand that one, unless you're Ryan, because then you're come back from 1902, 1904. I don't know how long he's been around. He keeps calling himself so old, like he's prehistoric or dinosaur or something else. And by the way, AJ had mentioned to Dean, we need more stock picks, and you're absolutely right, AJ, because it's been a while since I think we've heard a stock pick, a really good one from Dean. So maybe the next time I get him on the line here, we'll get some good picks, because we know that we need some stock tips to start funding the Tony Bruno Sports Network as we are back here. As I told you guys, it's going to be a very short break. Thank you all for tuning in on Twitter, on Facebook, listening through the apps, and don't forget to please download the apps. Tell your friend, because the game is definitely on. You guys are listening to the best damn sports network in the planet. So if you'd like to call and or text into the show, you can do so at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. And as always, mi hermano, Rich Quinones from Back Your Play, back with us here this evening. Rich, we just had the MLB draft lottery done by Brad Paisley. And Cleveland walks away with the first pick, and Cincy as the second one. So I guess, it's different. It's not like the NFL, the NHL draft. With baseball, it's a little different. I know they're supposed to be changing here shortly, but was it good for Cleveland, obviously coming out with the first one?
I think anytime you get, and first of all, I always appreciate you guys having me on. I think anytime you get a first-round pick or a first overall pick in any sport, it means something to a franchise. Baseball, like you said, is somewhat different, right? Because now you can have that pick and the kid can be 18, 19, 20 years old and he's got to work his way through the minors and then boom. I remember years ago, Matt Laporta, he was a big time prospect from Milwaukee and everyone's like, you can't trade him. He's a top pick. You can't trade him. The guy had a cup of coffee in baseball and you never heard from him again. So hit and miss, just like all these other sports. I think NBA and I think NFL, when you get that top pick, you can really take your franchise to another level, especially the NFL, because we're always talking about quarterbacks, the marquee position. Baseball is a little different, but it's good for Cleveland, and we're going to blink, and it's going to be pitchers and catchers in a couple more months.
I know. I can't believe it. I was just thinking about it today in a car ride. I was like, wow, it's December 5th, and it just seems like the season was just over. I mean, it's that fast. It seems like baseball season comes around a lot faster than when it used to, because it used to feel like forever. Well, okay, let me recant that. Here in Florida, it doesn't feel like forever because it's always warm, and I drive right by just about every single day down there by Baycare Ballpark, which I can't wait for the stadium to get packed again. Clearwater Threshers already put out messages. They came up short too this year, winning the Minor League World Series. They made it, but it came up short just like the Dunedin Blue Jays the season before. But, I can't wait. It's just going to be miraculous and marvelous and all that great stuff. And by the way, Dean says, Angel, thanks for the invite. Great conversation. Dean, believe me, we appreciate it. Again, you have the open invite here on Martinez Company. And as AJ said, Dean, we definitely need some investment picks because we need to make some money. Ryan, not so much. Ryan has investment in Friskies. Apparently, he's already bought stock into it as he busts out his 1977 shirt. So he doesn't have to worry about any kind of investments.
Yeah, you got to be careful there. You don't want to pull Gus Johnson, Paoli and Plugoli. I mean, you got to be very careful there. The FCC, they're going to get on your ass for that. Gus is sitting there pushing off a product. And Angel and I are probably the only ones that caught it when I tweeted it out the other night. And I text you. I'm like, what the frig is he doing?
Exactly.
What are we doing here? Getting a little handout, getting some free merch.
Yeah, that was dumb. If no one talked to him afterwards, I'd be completely surprised, Rich, because how silly can you be? And I mean, and made it clear as day. It was. I can understand if you quickly said something and kind of let it go. No, all he needed was catalog number 506 T-shirt, large, medium, small. I mean, come on, dude.
Right. Or they come, or listen, they come back from commercial break, and he's like, "Listen, these are the ones that I picked out for myself." I mean, it's just like, come on, what are we doing here? Paoli, Plugoli. They teach us that communications class.
Right. It's ridiculous. But listen, whatever. That's what he wanted to do, so that's what he did, and so be it. But again, the only, I guess, update that we've heard from Ohtani, I teased it in the start of the show here, as we're in the third quarter of Martinez Company. Thank you all for tuning in on the app. Once again, here on the social medias, we do appreciate it. Rich Quinones, again, with us here from Back Your Play. But the only update that we've heard so far, and it seems like the Ohtani sweepstakes have really, really, really dwindled down, because it seems like the only people that might bite are the LA Dodgers, because apparently they've been the only ones that have really spoken to him in depth.
Yeah, I mean, I think you say it dies down. I think it's more or less teams kind of keeping stuff close to the vest. And you got a player here, a very unique talent, right? And think about this. The Angels basically came out and the GM's like, we're not really looking to trade Mike Trout. Okay, fine. So you had Trout, you had Rendon's injuries, and you had the great play of Ohtani, but you went through another season where it's a wasted season. So did you want to be the GM that moved him or the GM that lets him sign for nothing? That was kind of the rub there with the Angels. But Toronto's been a name. The Giants, think about San Francisco. Think about the Cubs for a moment, coming back, playing on the East Coast. You mentioned the Dodgers. Toronto's been there. I think the Mets and Yankees are going to kind of scale off. The Mets are going to make their moves, try to get a little more pitching depth. We know the Yankees might try to poach Soto from San Diego. So I think when it's all said and done, you're looking at $500-600 million for Ohtani. And the beauty is, it's a shame they couldn't really win anything because you had two of the game's best 5 players, right? I mean, let's be fair here with Mike Trout and Ohtani, and you just look at Trout's history, and it's kind of one of the reasons I even text you on this, Angel, is that I thought the Phillies should steer clear of Trout. Cumberland County, went to Millville. I called his games in high school. It was crazy to watch this kid, and now he's a Hall of Famer, but he's so off injured where I'm $250, 7 years left on a deal. So when he's 39, Angels will probably sit there and say, yeah, you want to go sign with the Philadelphia Phillies and call it a career, go ahead and do it. But Ohtani is the marquee name, period. And don't be shocked if you do get that sleeper team, i.e. Chicago or one of those teams from the NL West, the Dodgers or the Giants. And listen, wherever he goes, he is going to be such a draw. I actually threw out Seattle too. because of the Ichiro effect. I mean, think about that.
Right.
So
I've also heard the Rangers too, but let's be out. He's not going to pitch next year. Obviously, he'll be on he'll DH for some team, but he's not going to pitch right away.
Right.
So I would think that really the Dodgers would have that kind of lira, that kind of cash to dish out for him, and these other clubs are just going to fall by the wayside.
Well, it doesn't diminish the fact, like people were saying, I mean, I've been asked this question, if he doesn't pitch, is he still a $500 million player? Yeah, absolutely, because you can live with, not getting your 20-something odd starts, 25 starts in one season. Look what he's doing from the plate. It's ridiculous. I mean, you're looking at the modern day Babe Ruth with the pitching and the hitting. So it's a good point you bring up, Ryan. I do think, though, if he goes on the West Coast, and you got to think about some of these ballparks too, short porch. You got to think of some of these warm weather ballparks. The ball's going to fly as well. I think the teams that had that money, and I mentioned two of them, and Angels mentioned them as well. The Giants, the Dodgers, even the Cubs, man, they want to make a splash.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make a splash, but wherever he lands, he will change the face of that franchise. Is it going to turn into 110 wins? I don't know. It's yet to be seen, but he's a marvelous player. I mean, I enjoy watching him play. Every year you take a flyer on him to win MVP, especially if Trout goes down with an injury. Then he's going to be the second best player and then the first best player, and he steps up. And, it's I don't want to say easy money, but it's a good call.
Yep. Well, the Rangers are out, Ryan. They did say that they wanted to get in the stakes, the Ohtani stakes, but they said also they were out. They're looking to fill other holes that they need. I mean, winning the World Series with the team that you have, obviously you hope to bring a lot of guys back, but they're looking to make some changes as well. So they know it would just be too much money to spend. But Rich, you mentioned DeSoto for the Yankees. Obviously, being a Giants fan, you guys are Giants, Yankees. We all know this, Mets, Jets, both losers, no matter which way you look at it. But the Yankees overall, when you look at it, kind of
what is that? You just gloss over that? Let me ask you a question. You okay that you got dog walked on Sunday? You all right with that?
Yeah. I've already listen. I've taken my biscuits and my gravy and everything else.
All right.
No,
sure.
No, of course I tease because obviously for the Mets, the only thing. Listen, if we're being honest, it cracks me up every single year that the Mets are saying we're gonna do it, and who ends up there? The Phillies. Just saying, they're New York.
But and I can't defend the Mets. Their season went off the rails during the World Baseball Classic. I mean, You're losing the best reliever in baseball, and then you bring in the veterans, and you're thinking, all right, let me buy that championship again because Cohen's got all that friggin' money in that cash. He doesn't really give a shit. I mean, he'll just spend hand over fist with the money. And they lose veteran guys. They jettison them away, and the Mets are a snake-bitten franchise. And the Yankees, I love the Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan. The Yankees haven't won dick. I mean, they just haven't. The Yankees will spend, they'll spend. I hated to move for Stan a couple years ago. I was debating whether you give Judge the contract. Can he match those numbers he accumulated a couple years ago? Soto, whatever. I mean, explain this to me. How can you have all that talent if you're San Diego? All that talent,
right,
top to bottom, and yet every single year, that's something people should be talking about. Every single year, they cannot win. They can't get over the hump. They can't make a deep run in the playoffs. They get bounced in the wild card. They get bounced in the first round. They don't win the division. And I don't want to hear this. Well, the division is it's tough. It's competitive. Hey, man, look at that lineup. I mean, Machado, Tatis. So, I mean, you go through the list and you're thinking to yourself, how do you not win? So I don't care if the Yankees go after Soto, to be quite honest with you, because they try to live and die by the long ball and always bites them in the ass.
The Padres, there's too many egos, man. And they can't find a manager to manage those egos. So, it just look at what the Diamondbacks did, man. You don't have to have egos on your team. It just have a team that's cohesive, that gets it, that knows their roles, and you can go far. But with the Padres, it's just, man, like you said, Machado, Soto, Tatis. There's just too many inflated egos on that team.
Yeah, but when these guys are hitting 35-plus home runs, driving in 100 RBIs, batting 280 to 323, you look at the WAR, you look at the slugging percentage, they're scoring runs. I mean, if you look at the run differential, it's absolutely crazy with some of these teams in the, especially in the National League this past season and in years past. How do you not at least make a deep run? It's got to be NLCS or bust.
Yeah, it does. But I think another team that could be sitting in a nice little real sweet spot there is the White Sox. And the White Sox haven't really done much. Again, these safe hire managers, you can't, I don't care, and I'll say this over and over again, when you make it to the majors, no matter what it is, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, safe hires don't work. And it didn't work for the White Sox. And for the White Sox, it seemed like those guys gave up after basically the All-Star break. They were like, what the hell are we playing for? We're not playing for anything. So the White Sox right now in the 5th spot are, I'm going to say they're in a good spot, but with the manager they have currently at the helm, their skipper, not so much. So it makes you wonder what the GM's going to be able to do for the White Sox.
I mean, listen, you lose 100+ games, you are you're open for business when we're talking about trades, right? Nobody's safe. When you're losing 90, 95, 100 games a year, Angel, even teams that win 100 games as opposed to losing 100 games, they're flawed. Baltimore won 101 games coming out of the AL East, right? They were a sleeper, a dark horse, but they were an extremely flawed team, and we saw it come playoff time. These teams that rely on the long ball instead of manufacturing runs, these teams that rely on their front end pitching, and then their staff goes south. I mean, the baseball season is such a long season, but to your point, when you lose, like teams like the White Sox have lost over the last couple of years, you've got holes in the infield, you got holes in the outfield. I mean, you have a couple young players you can kind of build around, but you're pretty much open for business. If you can get value back, if you can jettison some players, then you're going to do it.
Yeah, you are. And again, I want to. I know the other thing too, obviously with the winter meetings coming up, Brad Paisley was the host tonight for the MLB Draft Lottery. And at first I thought, why would I have Brad? But I forgot it's in Nashville, so it makes a lot of sense to have Brad up there. But one thing they want to talk about during the winter meetings is saying that once there's a runner on base, the pitch clock would be extended to the pitchers. Now, whatever, tomato. My thing is, what I want them to get rid of, extending the pitch clock, okay, whatever. It's a thing. We already got used to, obviously, having the minimal time. Get rid of the extra runner on second and extra innings. That has been frustrated beyond any means whatsoever because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't stand it. Listen, baseball fans, if you guys don't like that it takes for fucking ever to win a damn game, tough shit. Don't go. Don't buy your damn tickets. Oh my God, this game takes forever. It sucks. No, you suck. Because those who like Major League Baseball, we love to sit there. I'll sit here until 4 o'clock in the fucking morning and watch the game. So enough complaining about, oh my God, it takes forever for these games to end. No, the hell it doesn't. Enjoy the game. You're getting bonus baseball. If you bought the cheapest tickets at $7, God forbid you watch an extra 9 innings. Gee, 2 games for a price of 1. Quit complaining. Rays fans don't complain. And they have the lowest attendance out of, I'm sorry. Marlins, you guys won that one. The only time you guys ever sell out is opening day, opening night. The rest of the time, you guys don't show up. So all I want for Christmas, God, Mamacita, ¿dónde está Santa Claus? Do me a favor, talk to the MLB ownership and tell them get rid of that stupid rule that in the extra innings you put a guy on second. Win the game the way you're supposed to by being managed. Your pitchers, your hitters, put the guys in place to win a game. That is my rant for the moment. I'm sorry, Rich, go ahead.
Listen, 2 things. I don't know if you got too much sun today outside.
Such language, damn.
I mean, my goodness, I love, listen, I love the passion. I'm with you. I'm a baseball purist. It's meant to be played slow, but some people don't like that. You go and you watch, years ago when I worked for the Sports Network, I was always covering the Yankees. And when the Yankees and the Red Sox played, it was friggin' 5, 6, 7 hours. I get exactly where you're coming from. They want to speed up the game. They want to make it more fan friendly to get the younger audience involved. But with all that being said, to your point, it's a valid one, to be honest. I agree with everything you're saying. The problem is the game is not played like it was 15, 20 years ago, man. I mean, think about this. I talked about this the other day. If you go back and you look at pitchers in the AL that had more than 10, 11, 12 complete games, I think got to go and look at Tampa when they had David Price. These guys are getting pulled early. The starters go 2 or 3. The managers make the decisions. I mean, that's where we're at, man. Again, Angel, I agree 100% with what you're saying. 100%. But that's not what baseball wants. And the commissioner, to be honest, not a fan of the commissioner. I think he's clueless. He's almost as bad as the commissioner in the NFL. He does not care about the fan base. He does not care about the fans. All they're concerned about is filling up the ballparks, the broadcast, TV rights, making money. That's it. And that's when the game suffers. But guys like us that'll sit and we'll listen to the game on the radio, or we'll watch a game in April, and we'll come back and we'll watch it in July and September in the playoffs. We're kind of a dying breed.
Right.
But yeah, everything you're saying, man, I agree 100%.
Well, my thing is, hold on, Ryan, before you make your statement there, because Dean says, Angel, come on, will you quit it? Tell us how you really feel. Listen, I'm just telling you guys because my thing is, I love baseball. Everybody knows that is my number one sport. Played as a little leaguer. Never had the chance to obviously to make it to college because we couldn't afford it. Being honest, and then I joined the military. But I love baseball. My thing is, and you talked about Richie as far as the attention span. Listen, this younger generation, the attention span is. I mean, you have like 10 seconds. It's different when you go to an interview and the guy tells you, listen, you got 15 seconds to tell me what you can do for my company, go. That's something completely different.
Right.
With these kids today, everything has to be like, oh my God, you have a minute video. Can you make it 30 seconds? Oh my God, it's 30 seconds. Can you make it in 10? Oh my, can you make it a second? The attention span goes away because we are indoctrinating this thing. Stop with the whole thing like, oh my God, my attention span. Listen, all of us, those of us who are of age, I may have more patience than anybody else that I freaking know of because Debbie tells me all the time. But my thing is that if you're going to go to a baseball game, just enjoy it. It's a national pastime. I understand that they want to make it faster. They want to get a better fan experience, blah, blah, blah. Change up, I don't know, maybe change up the All-Star game, make it a little more fun there. Obviously, the Home Run Derby continues to be a smashing success. But, change things up. But my thing is that you keep trying to condense. I think the fastest game this year was 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe.
Which is fast.
Right, which is great. I understand that. But if you don't have the patience to watch a game or you don't want to, listen, there's other sports. Golf, for example. Wow, that's a fast sport. Gee, let me see. There goes the ball. Let me go chase it. Oh, and that takes about 4 to 6 hours to play.
Listen, Ryan, chime in. Everything you're saying is, I agree, but it's again, we're not talking 20 years ago, man, where you have a family of 4 or 5, they go to the ballpark, they get hot dogs, they wait until, even when I was born in New York and lived in New York and came down to South Jersey, even when my parents and my father would take me, we would go to the old vet back in the day. In 6th, 7th inning, it clears out. What do? You sneak down. Nobody, you can't unring the bell, brother. That dog's not going to hunt anymore. We're past that time. We're past that time. So they want to try different ways to speed the game, to make it exciting, to bring in a broader, younger audience. Think about if you go and you Little League, how many kids are now still playing Little League like we used to when we were younger? They're not. They're doing more things, or they're glued to one of these.
Correct.
Okay, so that's why they want to kind of keep it a little more exciting, a little more engaged. But you're right. The game is meant to be played at a certain pace. 27 outs is 27 outs.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Hey.
No, I'm just trying to make light of the situation. Angel said short attention span, so I was just trying to make a joke. So no, but hey, look,
tonight.
I get it. I'm an old school guy. I would like to see it go back to the way it used to be.
Yep.
That's never going to happen. Just like the NFL 20 years ago, that's never going to circle back around either. I don't think so. But yeah, they need to stop tinkering. Like, sports need to stop tinkering. That's they just need to stop because they tinker too much, and then you ruin the product, and then it gets watered down, and then there's just like a catch. What's a catch anymore in the NFL? You don't know.
Well, but see, you're apples and oranges, Ryan. You're talking apples and oranges, right? Football, we don't even complain about that anymore. In football, what are we complaining about? Every friggin' play. Where's the flag? Why didn't they throw the flag? Why did they throw the flag? Oh, there's no flag. It's the officiating. Then it's, did he have possession? Did he bobble? Did he catch it? In baseball, is there really controversy when we're watching? This is not 1985 St. Louis and the Royals, right? We don't see controversy a lot with baseball. We really don't. It's a clean game. It's meant to be played a certain way. I'm not even in favor of the pitch clocks, to be honest. Again,
I'm not either.
some pitchers are just, they slow out of delivery, man. That's how the game is meant to be played. But that's not what the commissioner wants. That's not what the powers that be want. And then you get a product that you've been seeing. But it does make for a competitive and interesting and compelling postseason because, again, unless you really followed a team like the Diamondbacks, who would have thunk it that they were going to make the run into the NLCS and the World Series, or Texas finally win it? That makes it compelling. That aspect, playoff baseball, I still believe is right there, especially Game 7, because you have to manage.
Right.
You can't fake that. You can't hide from that. You got to manage. You have to make the right moves. Bring in the right arms, the lefty, the right, whatever the matchup is, you have to manage. But yeah, it's just it does hurt the sport a little bit. So totally agree with both the sentiments.
And I have to let Rich know what I let you know earlier, Angels. The 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates, my Pittsburgh Pirates, have officially been eliminated from the 2024 playoffs.
Yeah, but listen to this. You can hang your hat on that. Jimmy Leland finally got the call to the Hall, right? Yep. And by the way, he should have been inducted into Cooperstown when he told Cream Boy, Royd Boy, to go fuck himself and take a walk, and he's going to manage, right? Yep. We don't acknowledge, as they say, in this side of the house, we do not acknowledge 762. We acknowledge 755, Hammer and Hank, right? Yep. So
I completely agree.
Listen, he was a stick, and then he turned into a walking freaking candy apple. Get him out of here. Wait.
Right.
And there is, anybody goes on YouTube, types in Jim Leland and Barry Bonds.
Great clip.
You'll see what we're talking about. So he just doesn't take any shit off of Barry whatsoever.
And to Angel's point before, when he was talking about these teams that lose and win 100 games, you go back, that World Series he won with the Marlins, they won 92 games. They won the World Series. I pulled it up. Alou, Sheffield, Bobby Bowe, Renteria, Castillo, Conine. The very next year, they lost 108 games because they lost everyone.
Yep.
Except, I think the one player might have been Conine that stayed with them. But that's just funny, little side note on that.
Yeah, Huizenga had a fire sale after the World Series. So.
Yeah. Sure did. But listen, and the only reason why I went off earlier because I love baseball. I know they try to tinker with it. I know they're trying to make it a little bit better. My thing is, the only thing that I would love is for them just to get rid of the extra guy on second, period. Win the game like you're supposed to. Manage it. Manage it well. Manage your relievers. Win it like you're supposed to. Again, I get it because the attention span of people anymore is just that quick. The same way, you can put something out today. Look at freaking YouTube. YouTube, Instagram. Let me explain to you how you can make a 30-second video. Next day, let me explain to you how you can make a 28.2-second video. Next day, let me show you how you can do it all in 10 seconds. I'm like, Jesus, anything else? Let me... yes?
Angel, do you remember that scene in Something About Mary when he picks up the hitchhiker and he's talking about... What was he talking about? The 7 or the 10 minute abs. Yeah. And then Ben Stiller's like, well, what happens if somebody says 7 minutes? And he's like, come on, what the hell are you talking about? You can't get a good workout in 7 minutes. Step into my office.
Exactly. That's the best line when he tells you, the 7 minute abs. He goes, yeah, I'll give it to you in 6 minutes. What? 6 minutes? Yeah, think about it. 6 minute abs. What happens if you can't do it? I'll throw in the extra minute. It's such a great line, that movie. That movie has been so undervalued for many, many years. If you guys have not seen it, check it out. Something About Mary. That's a classic. For sure, it's a classic. But so those who think that I was doing it as an actor or anything else, I get upset. I get upset because, again, it's the attention span. We keep hearing this over and over again. The attention span. If you guys don't like what you hear, if you guys don't like what you see, and I'm not talking about on this radio program. What I'm talking about, there's stuff on TV you don't like. Listen, easy. Get the clicker, change it. That's it. But for always constantly trying to tell people, oh, I only have a short attention span, not my problem. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. Go listen to somebody else. Listen, Dr. Ruth was great. Dr. Ruth didn't give you advice in a minute. Dr. Ruth, you got 40 minutes? Yep, Dr. Ruth. Keep talking, lady, because I love everything you have to say. It's the sign of the times, and it's just driving me crazy that everything has to be super fast. Everything. Anything you do anymore is all super fast. And with that being said, if you guys like to call, comment, or question the authority, what is Martinez Company, please do so at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8644. 8669. I don't know, maybe Rolaids, Tums, one of you guys can become now the new sponsor here, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to send my stomach for a Rival Fest here later on. So after we get back from the break, as we're quickly coming up into quarter number 4, who knows? Maybe I'll just fire myself off the show. I don't know. Stay tuned, because I'm quite sure it's going to get a lot better on the other side. So you're listening to Martinez Company, time 7:29.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio. He perfected it.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices, but many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough, steel-toed protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
I see what you're wearing, there's nothing beneath it. Forgive me for staring, forgive me for breathing. We might not know why, we might not know how, but baby tonight, we're beautiful now, we're beautiful now. Not know why, we might not know how, but baby tonight, we're beautiful now. We'll light up the sky, we'll open the clouds, 'cause baby tonight, we're beautiful now. We're beautiful.
Quarter number 4 here on Martinez and Company, as I'm still fired up from the last segment. Yes, that's how much my attention span goes. It goes from more than just 1 minute or 10 seconds or 15 seconds. Regardless, it is Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez. He is Ryan F., joined tonight by Rich Quinones from Backyard Play. We thank you all for tuning in. We thank you all for watching us here on the social medias, over on Twitter, Facebook. Calling in, the text messages are lighting up tonight, 844-644-8669. Send in your complaints, your thoughts, your process, whichever way you would like to think about the way that's been said there tonight. Dean says, Angel, I agree everyone wants things done and over with fast. My wife, after 2 minutes, asked, are you done yet? There's a good show on Hallmark Channel I want to get to. So listen, which is, it's true. I'm glad that Dean agrees, but no, listen, Again, folks, listen, if we didn't have fun, if we were a bunch of dullards, you guys would not be entertained. I'm just saying that right now. What was that movie? Are you not entertained? You're going to be entertained tonight. I'm just telling you right now. I am fired up, and after the show's over, my lovely producer's going to tell me, are you calmed down yet? No, I'm going to go run around the block like a crazy man, probably in the golf cart and screaming to the top of my lungs. I'll wake up my New York neighbors because I'm pretty sure they're dying to hear what's going on here, but it's enough to drive you nuts. Yes, Rich?
I'm more concerned about Dean. I mean, you might want to send him those Dr. Roof links.
Dean he's fine, but he's bringing up a good point because again, it's just the attention span. Listen, everybody just needs to come. Okay, Rich, I'll give you a perfect example. The other day, so Debbie and I went to Orlando. We had to go do a shipment there on Saturday. No, not shipment, you guys, the way you're thinking about it. I actually had to work on Saturday. Don't think that kind of shipment.
Tony Montana.
Anyways, we go to Orlando.
You got to go pick up the yayo?
Yayo.
Yeah.
You had to pick up the yayo.
Yeah, exactly.
Chichi, the yayo. Come here, Tony. Come here.
But we get to Wawa, and the girl says that she goes, the coffee will be ready in like 20, 30 seconds. I'm like, listen, I'm originally from Philly. I have patience. Don't you worry about it. But if you were back in Philly at Wawa, they would be flipping you out right now because it's that attention span. And trust me, in the morning when I used to go to the same one in South Philly, right off of Delaware Avenue before I made my way up to Northeast. And every friggin' morning I hear somebody go bananas. And just to egg them on, I used to tell them, good morning. The fuck you talking about good morning? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Is it attention span or is it lack of patience?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
That's the whole entire thing.
But they can be two separate things, right? When, like sports-wise, we're sitting here and we're watching these games. We're watching these football games. Right. Do we lose patience when they keep calling timeout late in the game, keep going to commercial? Yeah, probably. Probably you lose patience. Is my attention span going to flip? Not necessarily, right? Because I'm going to keep focus on that. I think baseball is a perfect example that you bring up. But the sport was meant to be played at a slow pace.
Correct.
And guys like us understand that. But the younger fans, the younger generation, they just, you should ask someone or throw it out there one day. When was the last time somebody actually physically went to a game and stayed through 9 innings?
Dude, I'm actually going to go down maybe this weekend. I'll go down into Tampa. I'm just going to go right down to the Riverwalk. I'm going to have a quick conversation with people just to see what their attention span is. And I'll come up with 3 different lines. One that's 3 minute long, one that's 1 minute long, and one that's just a second long. And I'm pretty sure the one that's a second long is the one that's going to win because that's high. And they'll just look at me with this death stare like, what? You expected me to say something else? I'm sorry, your attention span is 1 second. Check. It's just ridiculous. But anyways, rumors are that the Eagles are viewed as the most likely destination for defensive tackle and Dominique Sue.
And Dominican stupid. That's what I call him.
I don't. Okay, and
it's another beef. It's another beef. It's another beefy guy. You know what I mean?
That's about it. But it's not going to help the team out that much.
No.
No.
They got exposed. They really got exposed. When we spoke last week, I told you we had a couple player props, but I told you McCaffrey, if he goes for $130 total yards and they win the battle of the trenches, 49ers are going to win this game.
Right.
I mean, it's not, again, bragging or boasting. It's just you kind of knew that going into that game. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about how unprepared the Eagles were in that game.
Right.
I mean, you can't exchange field goals, right? And Hurts held the ball too long. That second drive took the sack, 6-0. As soon as the 49ers scored, and you go by their play chart, you're talking 2 punts, -6 yards, and then boom, 6 friggin' touchdown drives right after. I mean, they did. They woodshed. They dog walked them. They punched them in the mouth. They got in under their skin. They got in their head early. And the head coach that loves to talk shit after friggin' W's really didn't say too much, right? After the game, he got really friggin' humbled. And I'm wondering, you got an aggressive play caller, go for it, 4th and 3, 4th and 2. They elect to punt the football. I mean, the 49ers, here's where you're going to see what kind of character and heart Eagles have. If they go out Sunday to Dallas and they lose 31-13, you're going to see that the 49ers started that downward spiral. You can't ignore it. But they're horrible in zone coverage. You guys saw it. I was texting you during the game. They can't stop the run. They don't run the friggin' football. I mean, I'll ask you guys, what's their offensive identity right now? What is it? What is it?
That's all they do is pass. That's all they do. They only ran the ball 18 times for 46 yards the other day. You can't expect Jalen Hurts to throw it up 45 times and win the football game. That's not balance. That's not balance. It's not balance whatsoever.
It's not, and that's the whole entire thing. Like, listen, you cannot pass the freaking. They had the opportunity of starting the run game, and they elected not to. Where the Eagles is exposed, by all means, yes. Do you not think that Dallas is now looking at that tape and saying, we know exactly how we're going to beat these guys? And again, I could be a homer. I had fun last week, went on my high horse, whatever the case may be, and it was all fun and games, and it's great. But again, I'm just going to throw my opinion out there. As a broadcaster, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to throw my opinion out there. But truthfully, this week, I just don't see how the Eagles, of how they played, especially last week, are going to pull off this win. Now, everybody from Philly to South, you guys can tune out, whatever case would be. Oh my God, he's a Dallas homer. No, I'm not. I'm just being truthful.
Well, you're basing it on what you saw. You're basing it on what you saw leading up to Sunday.
Correct.
Buffalo, Kansas City, and then the 49ers.
Right.
So again, I'll throw it at you one more time. Like, where's the head coach? How come afterwards the media is not pounding the head coach? How do you not get up for this game? Why? Because it meant more to the 49ers? They can lose against Dallas, still win their division. They can still run the table, get home field advantage. But it's a deeper issue that people keep glossing over. And you guys are smart. You know what you're doing and what you're talking about. The viewing audience, the football fans are smart. They understand that early in the season, I can get away with my offense behind my defense, meaning my defense is always going to be a little better than my offense. It's just how it is. But in week 12, 13, 14, are you freaking kidding me with this offense? You know what it reminds me of? Angel, do me a favor. Go to the right. Ryan, do me a favor. Go right down the street. Cut to the Chevy. Go to the mailbox. Right. That's exactly what their offense is right now.
Yep.
And it's not going to win. It's not going to get you deep into the playoffs, and certainly not going to get back to the Super Bowl. It isn't. And I think that's just being fair. I don't think you're being anti-homer or hating. I just think you're being objective. You watch that game. They got punched in the mouth, and they could not get off the mat. They were punching above their weight class, and they got knocked on their ass, and that was it.
You could even go back to the Super Bowl last year. They did not make good getting game adjustments.
Correct.
Especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni's he's a great coach to a point, but his in-game adjustments and him trying to adjust to X, Y, and Z, he's not a good coach in that aspect.
But that trickles down to your coaching staff, your coordinators, and everyone being on the same page, right? Kansas City, your Chiefs, probably ultimately, if you went and look at the analytics and the data, have one of the best coaching staffs in football. And I think there's something to be said when you have a different offensive coordinator or a new coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator. You can't allow Jalen Hurts to just run around freely and ad-lib and improvise. You can't. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to last the season. He's taken two. And can we – what the frig is the quarterback, your franchise quarterback, doing in there when the game is over?
Yep.
What are we doing here? Like, honestly, for what? For smoke and mirrors? For bullshit stats?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's why, I hate it in the beginning of the week, people were talking about, at the beginning of the broadcast that day, weather might play a factor. Listen, stop with the weather. Stop using weather as like it's a crutch. No one cares. I'll remind everybody, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they went on to win the Super Bowl, Warren Sapp being on a team, what do you say, brisk, brutal? How cold was it, the whole 9 yards? They ended the vet on a losing note. Tampa Bay goes on to win that year. So stop with the whole thing. Oh my God, the weather, this, that, and they're a cold weather team. These are a hot weather team. No, it doesn't. It makes no freaking difference. So the whole weather thing, it doesn't matter. The same way with Jalen Hurts. It's just you're trying to make too much out of nothing. If there's nothing there, it's easy. 0 minus 0 equals 0. Some people like to say 0 minus 1 equals -1. No, it doesn't. It drives me nuts. Stop holding on to the ball. There's no reason for it. Let it go. He got his bell rung on Sunday. It could have been a lot worse. That should ring your bell come this week and say, okay, we need to have that well-balanced attack. And if we don't, Dallas is going to hand it to him. CeeDee Lamb right now is 100% healthy. CeeDee Lamb is looking like CeeDee Lamb when he first came to Dallas. And that is dangerous. Dak Prescott is looking a lot better. Again, AJ in San Antonio, if he's still listening in, I know I talk, again, a lot of smack when it comes to the Giants. Dallas. Well, Giants too, but Giants, that's a whole different thing. We'll get back to them next year. But nonetheless, when it comes to Dallas, listen, Dak is playing out of his mind right now. If you want to be honest and truthful, he is playing out of his mind. I'm not a fan of Mike McCarthy, but somehow or another, he's been able to do it. And maybe he's still leaving, Elvis, his tickets up there at the box office. I don't know what he does, but whatever he does, obviously he's got this team going in the right track. The way it is right now. And who's not to say that Dallas could not be one of those names at the NFC Championship game at the rate they're playing. If they beat the Eagles this week, Eagles lose, there's a great probability that we could be seeing a Dallas-San Fran NFC Championship game. If I'm being completely honest, and that's, again, from my opinion, Philly fans, you guys can get all pissed off in the world at me. I'm just telling you guys the truth. Right now, the way it looks, and I'm not giving up on the Eagles by any means whatsoever, but on this game here, because you figured, okay, so the Eagles face the Giants twice, and I think you got the Seahawks on a Monday night. So, that's 2 winnable games if you look at it, but not if you end up losing. San Fran continues to win. Dallas continues to win because now you're in a foot race to the finish. Yeah. So that's just my thing.
Well, here's the thing, too, and Rich knows this. If you cannot run the football in December and January, you're not going far. Yeah. If you go back to the Jets game, the other team to beat the Eagles ran the ball 22 times for 80 yards that game. Yeah. Jalen Hurts threw it up 45 times through 3 picks. Yeah. So you starting to see the formula. No balance. There's no balance. When they get off balance, they're screwed.
I don't think they've cracked over 50 rushing yards in the last several games. And to Angel's point, any of those teams you mentioned, San Fran, Dallas, Philadelphia, San Fran proved that they can go with a healthy quarterback on the road and take care of the Eagles. And forget about last year when Purdy goes down. We don't know how the outcome plays out. Dallas, you still have the Prescott in the big game, McCarthy in the big game. Can you go on the road and beat Philly? Well, if you had that game at home, it's been a house of horrors if you think about it for the Eagles. They haven't really won a lot of times over the years. You got to look at the numbers. Detroit, can they go on the road and beat the Eagles? Dallas, the 49ers? I don't know on the road. At home, who knows? They'll put up 30, 35, but they might give up 38 points. So the NFL is a week-to-week proposition, right?
Right.
So if the Philadelphia Eagles go on the road Sunday night and they beat the Dallas Cowboys 35-24, Hurts is 20 of 25, 288 for 3 touchdowns and a rushing score. That game against San Francisco, it'll be in everyone's distant memory, right? Mm-hmm. But now if they follow that up and stub their toe against Seattle or have bad performances against the Giants to close out the season, now you're kind of worrying, all right, are they still leaking oil? Was that just a get-up game? They had the 3 games in the 13 days and the schedule caught up with them. All those extraneous factors mean absolutely nothing come playoff time. The major issue right now is defensively they have way too many holes and they still have not gotten into that offensive groove. And I think you can get away with it. You can mask it in September and a little bit in October. You can't get away with that shit in late November and December. You can't. And that's where coaching comes into play. And you'll see it rear its head, whether it's going to be pretty or ugly come Sunday night against the Cowboys.
Yep. Go ahead.
Pam has a comment. Pam says, the guy Dean is always bringing passion for the Boston teams. Love his passion, even if the Patriots cheat. She puts a laughing face emoji for those who can't see on the radio. He cracks me up on Tony's show all the time, and that's the reason why Dean is end up being here on Martinez and Company, because Dean, he's a great guy to talk to. Obviously, I've heard him many a times, obviously on the Tony Bruno show, who is on before us from 3 to 6 p.m. And I know I haven't given the entire lineup, but I will say it here as we're coming quickly to the close of the fourth quarter here on Martinez and Company. But no, again, I know we've talked about it a bunch, and again, we'll see. The proof is going to be on putting. It's 8:20 Sunday night in Dallas. Then you got to turn around, come back home, fly out to Seattle because they flexed the game to 1 o'clock on Monday. So it's going to be tough. But if I can squeeze in before the show is over here, the Walter Payton Man of the Year NFL nominees have come out. And Sean says, who wins Washington versus Texas?
Texas.
How do we go from the NFL over to college? But okay.
I don't know.
All right,
he asked the question.
Hey man, it's your friggin' show. You're screening the calls. You're screening the messages. You pop them up. Come on. You got too much time.
Talk about attention span. It reminds me of the scene in Big Lebowski where the sheriff's tell everything he dislikes about Lebowski, and then the dude goes, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening."
No, Sean, a great friend of the show. I'm just
Texas. Texas will beat Washington.
Texas will win.
Yep.
I agree there. Let's see. Well, we'll start with the Giants here since Rich is in the house. New York Giants. Let's go back up.
Getting 6.5 against Green Bay.
You went from Walter Payton Man of the Year to the Giants, huh?
No, that's what I'm saying for the Giants. I'm saying for
okay. I got you.
Jeez, you talk about a short attention span.
That's right.
Were you listening?
Saquon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Saquon Barkley. And again, not bad. For your Kansas City Chiefs, there, Slick. Just don't look at your phone. Take a quick look. Take a quick guess.
For the Chiefs?
Yeah.
It's Kelsey.
No, Mahomes.
Oh.
Maotto. Yeah, exactly. For the Eagles is Lane Johnson. Let's see, another normal team for Dallas. Let's look at Dallas. Cowboys.
Probably Dak.
DeMarcus Lawrence. Nope. That's a good one. For DeMarcus Lawrence, I'll take him for Man of the Year. The Bears, Justin Jones. And for the Bills, Deion Dawkins.
How about the Jets? Is it Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson?
Oh, seriously?
About the Panthers, is it David Tepper?
No. Solomon Thomas. Anybody else that we know? Antoine Winfield for the Buccaneers. And for your Commanders, Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not bad.
He had a crap game this weekend, by the way.
Well, for the Bills, you got Deion Dawkins. What?
I was saying, McLaurin didn't have any catches this week. It was horrible.
You hear what he said after? They asked him about that. He goes, I got a lot of cardio in today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Just like the Jalen Carter quote this week, too. You didn't see the Jalen Carter quote from the Eagles?
I know, I saw it. I'm not trying to bring it up because obviously it's freaking ridiculous. Oh, my God. I already went on one rant. We don't want to end the show on another rant, okay? That was stupid.
It's your show.
That was blatantly stupid. Honest to God. And I can't believe there hasn't been a follow-up to that one either. That was just stupid. But anyways, as I clear my throat here, we thank
Angel, we need to put you on the sofa today, man. You need to come in to Dr. Q's office. What's the problem today, man? Seriously, we need to put you on the sofa today. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I mean, someone pee in the Cheerios this morning?
Dr. Phil. You got to call up Dr. Phil and get him on here.
It's because I already took out one battery. I got to take out the second battery so I can relax a little bit more. But no, whatever. If it wasn't a fun, interesting show, think about it. It could be the most boring thing ever. Good evening, everyone. You're listening.
No, listen, you're dead on with your baseball stuff. It's just, all of a sudden it's like the tales of two angels. The guy I talked to during the week is this nice, soft little teddy bear, calls me up. Hey, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué pasó, hermano? Call me, llámame. Now all of a sudden, friggin', I'm waiting for you to sit there and, Tony Montana, man.
It could happen, right? I got Scarface on the other side of the studio.
Can you imagine Angel walking in the street in Tampa all of a sudden asking these three questions and talking about coffee and coffee grinds and talking real fast? Let me tell you something. The DEA and the feds are going to be on your ass.
Big pile of sugar on his desk there.
I'll just bring the salt back like I do from work. At work, we have. For those who don't know, I work for a pretzel factory as my full-time job. When I mentioned this morning on Pete Shepard Show from 7 to 10. But I take extra bags with me and I put it inside of our van. And the one time I hit the freaking brakes and there's a cop standing right on the other side. So I open up the door and he's like, you want to explain that one? Yeah, it's salt. You can put your blue dye. You're going to come to find out it's just salt. He's like, all right.
Funny.
But he's eyeing me up like, do I really believe you? I know. We want
to. Yeah, we don't need you to be at a light. We don't need you to be at a light like this.
I know that might be funny. I don't know. I don't know. I might do that tomorrow just for grins and kicks.
Yeah, well, I'll see you in 6 to 10.
Yeah, because then they'll throw the real stuff inside of the van there instead of the phony stuff. But hey, listen, all I know is that every once in a while I got to vent. The stuff that goes on in today's society, that's what drives me nuts. And so I just take it out and recircle it back another way, as it is said. But anyways, thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. We do appreciate it. Over on Martinez Company, I am Angel Martinez with Ryan Neff tonight. Rich Quinones hanging out with us the entire hour. We thank those who tune in here on Facebook, also on Twitter. Over at Tampa Joe's in Philly the South, we can't thank those guys enough, especially to Mike Goodwin, who's been just fantastic for us over on Broad Street South side of the house. We do appreciate it. The radio side will be back up here momentarily. I'm getting everything coordinated so I can finally put the promos out there. You guys will be able to hear Rich back again on the network, including a bunch of other show, Real Delco Dave. So it's going to be a fun time. You guys can also visit the website, broadstsouth.com, and check out all the interviews that we've had in the past, all the guests we've had on the past, as we continue to add it on. And after this show, starting next week on the 11th, will be the Bleacher Brothers with A.J. Johnson. That will be from 8 to 10 p.m. Then throughout the overnight, you can hear the best of. Starting in the morning, Pete Shepard Show. Pete Shepard in the morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Another fantastic job by Pete this morning, followed by Defoe and Luby as they got into a little baseball talk today. They are on from 10 to 12. The best of between 12 and 3. And then Tony Bruno, Miss Robin with the Tony Bruno Show from 3 to 6 p.m. And we are back again tomorrow to fulfill everyone's dreams and desires here on Martinez and Company. And by all means, if you guys want to continue texting after the show, do so. 844-644-8669. But thank you to everyone who tuned in. As we always say, don't drink and drive. Arrive alive. Therefore, everyone can enjoy the rest of the night. Until tomorrow, for Rich Quinones, for Ryan Neff, for my lovely producer over in Studio B, I am Angel Martinez. We are over and out. Have yourselves a great night, everyone.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. He did this sports radio. He perfected it.
How much?
As we end the show, thank you, by the way, everybody who's hanging out here. A little bonus time. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. It was great in time tonight with Rich Quinones, obviously with Ryan Neff, as he looked multicolored in his Skittles via whatever he's got on there with the 1977 throwback. So it was good to have everybody on tonight. Again, we'll be back with you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you all for, and especially the one person or two people or three people over on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in, because we do appreciate it here. Those who watch us on the Tony Bruno Sports Network over on Broad Street South and over our YouTube page. Again, don't forget, check out broadstsouth.com. You can view everyone who we've had on the show. Again, we appreciate you all, and we can't wait until we do it all again tomorrow. Have yourselves all a great night, and we will see you then.
Say goodbye to the pet.